Hey guys, this is MTG Degree, and my name is Luke. Today we have our most requested topic of all time. No, not really. But what we're doing today is we are making Magic the Gathering jewelry. So if you've wanted something that's nerdy and pretty, I'm here to tell you that we have the technology. With that said, let's get right into it. Alright, so first you're going to find a card with some art that you like. Preferably in foil, because foil is shiny. Then, cut out some pieces, and those are going to go into your jewelry. I'm cutting out the blue mana symbol, and some little circles, and it'll all be very thematic. Alright, so next we're going to mix some epoxy. I use something called Easy Cast. It'll be in the description, and you mix a very little amount in a 1-to-1 ratio. You'll find that if you buy some of this stuff, it'll last just about forever. Take your 2 cups and pour them into a third-party cup, and mix away. Also, do not use Mom's China for this stuff. This is epoxy. It is super sticky and hard to get out. Also, if both of them are in the same cup, it'll dry and will never come out. Then, take your mixed epoxy and pour it into one of these resin jewelry molds. I'll be linking one of these in the description as well. For this first pour, you'll only be pouring halfway up the mold. Whenever you're not working with the epoxy or waiting for it to dry, put a bowl over it. This is because dust can fall in your epoxy as it's drying and make it all cloudy and nasty. As this epoxy dries, bubbles will rise to the top. And what I like to do is take a creme brulee butane torch and for half a second, blow the hot air into the mold. This will pop all the bubbles at the surface of the epoxy. Don't hold the heat for longer than a half second though, or you can scorch the epoxy or just straight up melt your mold. If you do this every 10 minutes for the first hour after your pour, you should have an extremely clear product. Kids, get your parents' help with this one. Next, take a Sharpie marker and just fill in black the backs of the pieces that you've cut. If you want to get really fancy, you can cut out mirror pieces and glue it so that there's an image on both sides, but I'm going to be lazy and just use the Sharpie. About an hour and a half after your first pour, the epoxy should be starting to gel. Then you can take the pieces that you've prepped and carefully put them in there. Occasionally, you'll trap some bubbles underneath when you do this, and so just lift up the mold when you're done and check to see if you've made any bubbles. If you have, just lift the pieces out again, and try again. Next, mix up some more epoxy and fill up the rest of the mold. Put a bowl on top of it, do your torching every 10 minutes, and then let it sit for an entire week. This stuff takes forever to dry. Also, if the place that you're having it dry is 60 degrees Fahrenheit or less, it might never dry. You really want it to be American room temperature approximately, so 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It's been a week, and it's time for your jewelry to pop out. So go take your mold, and just push on the other side and your jewelry should come right out, unless you over-poured like I did. Then you'll have to wrestle with the mold off screen for a little while until that piece comes out. Now while I'm wrestling with this piece here, we'll talk about the next part. I took a 1/16 inch drill bit and drilled across the tops of these. A helpful hint is that these epoxy castings are so smooth that you'll find it hard to get the drill to drill into it because it'll be sliding. So I used an X-Acto knife to rough up the area where I wanted the drill bit to go into. If you're young or inexperienced with power tools, get someone who is experienced with power tools to help you. Also, I'm not showing my technique here because I'm not a power tool safety instructor. Next, you go to your local bead shop and you buy a length of necklace chain, O-rings, lobster clasps, and ear wires. To make your necklace chain into a necklace, you take an O-ring and attach it to either side, and then you add a lobster clasp to one side, which will be able to clasp onto the O-ring on the other and make a full necklace. Then I take an O-ring and attach it in the middle of the chain. Then I take that O-ring that I attached to the necklace and I open it back up again because I just closed it for show. And then I get the ends of the O-ring into the holes that we made earlier with the drill. Once you're done with that and it's all tight, you're done with the necklace. The earrings are very easy. Just take an O-ring, open it up, slip it through the loop on the ear wire, and then take the ends of the O-ring and put them through the drill holes just like we did on the pendant. Easy peasy, and the earring's done. Here's a look at the final product, and something that I'd like to take note of here is that this is actually my first time making Magic the Gathering jewelry. I've worked with epoxy and molds before, but this was a new idea for me. I'm sure you guys watching this will find ways to expand this idea and make whatever jewelry you want. Since I don't plan on wearing this, I used old epoxy and lazy technique, which led to some bubbles. But even these bubbles are pretty much invisible to the naked eye, and are really only seen because of my camera lens. Anyway, pretty good for a first shot, and I'm sure you guys will figure it out quite quickly as well. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed watching me show you how to make this Magic the Gathering jewelry. If you did and you found it useful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, let me know in the comments. I'll see you next video, guys.